Hello and welcome to Coding Geeks. This is a channel from Gizmore and X from WeChell. And we are both geeks and I teach X how to code. X is a scholar, I am the master, and we show you how to code stuff in PHP in the first place. PHP is just another programming language. And in every programming language, you have a pipeline on how things work. You know, you have a chain of how things work. Like in C, you have a compiler, you have a linker, you have a preprocessor, you have steps of building a code, your tool chain. And in this video, we're going to set up a PHP tool chain. Well, this is chapter 0101. And the first step is to install Git for Windows. So you probably have heard of Git. Git is a programming tool. It organizes your source code. It helps you to make people together work on your code. GitHub is like Git for Windows. It's a tool that is using Git.
Perfect.
GitHub is like a web front end, and Git for Windows is like a Windows front end.
Okay.
There's also a GUI. I never tried it. I use it from console only. Git for Windows is really charming. It also gives you some default bash commands from Linux, like ls, like cat, like grep. We are going to make use of Git later on, like downloading software from other places. With Git, you have the world of open source under your hands. You know, you can clone any open source project with Git with one line. You know, Git is a must-have, and of course, Linux behavior and shell is also nice to have. Git for Windows does not replace the Linux, but it's a nice bash you have under your hood.
Download and then just double-click that.
Some changes we will make.
We will choose Notepad, and then
plus.
should we? I'm not sure why it's. Let's see. Now it's working fine.
In the history of Git, there was also always the master branch. You know, it's if you do a new Git repository and create a new project, you have the master branch for the main branch. You know. And lately, some people came up with the idea, hey, master, that's slavery. We have to rename it. And that's this option. You can now override.
Let's call it name.
This is good. This is good. You can read this up. It should make sense as this is good and the defaults. Here we do rebase. It is better merging of if two at the same file work at the same file. You have conflicts, and a rebase fixes the conflicts and makes a new commit without polluting the commit history. Basically, you install Git for Windows, so you have a Git bash and have Git, and we will try out if it works soon.
Perfect.
We also need Java.
Maybe PHP? Okay.
PHP, yes. Let's do PHP and add it to the path. Let's just type the thread safe, because then we're on the safe side. Everything should work, even threading.
Now PHP is downloaded.
You copy the PHP folder to one of your folders.
Should I extract it?
Yeah.
Should I call it PHP 8.2? Much easier?
Much easier. Then open a Git bash, please. Okay, and then // php .exe space -- version. We have a problem now.
What we need is that we need Visual C++ runtime. And then here we have the 86 and the 64. So now I will just set up the Microsoft Visual C++.
Oh, it's working now.
You see?
Good job.
Thank you.
Now type PHP, just PHP without the //
PHP.
version. Command not found. For executables, you need to specify the full path.
Okay.
Or it's in your path environment variable.
I will copy my directory. So system variables, and then I will go to environment variables, and then I will be doing for the system variables, I'll do new. No, maybe path. I'll go to path, and then I will edit, and then here I'll just add a new path,
and
which
browse.
is this one.
Yeah.
And then maybe it needs to be written in a clean way. So Windows is complaining, and then maybe it takes like this. Makes sense?
You can also click browse on the right, but yes.
Okay, so this might be easier maybe.
Yeah.
And then okay.
And now it's not now try it again.
So PHP not working.
You need to reload your shell because it needs to parse the environment variables again. You need the new shell. You change your environment, you need a new shell.
So now it's working from whatever directory.
Let's look at our dashboard. What's next? We are installing an IDE now, Eclipse. A nice IDE, integrated development environment, is what you want to have. You want a real nice IDE which does everything you need. And for the stack, I am setting up with you, it's F5. You know, you have a browser, you hit F5. The F5 stack is unbeaten. It's standalone software, you don't need to install it. And it's not that big. Well, I use Eclipse because I'm used to it. It's open source. It works well for my setup. It's free. I like it. Okay, so we have a Java runtime error. I believe I need Java on my machine. So let's go and download it. In this video, we set up the environment. You know, we're installing Eclipse now, then the debugger. Choose your workspace. It's just a directory where your projects are. Go to Workbench, top right. We create a new PHP project. Okay, so now we have the project number. So you close the donate things, close the donate button, close the outline and task list. We have a new project, and now we create a new file. And double click Hello World PHP in the Project Explorer and write the PHP magic bytes. Let's write Hello World in Eclipse and try to run it.
So I need to save it.
Run on server is via Apache about web server. The second is like we want now.
There's no PHP executable defined on the workspace.
Maybe do it.
And here we go.
No, after the exclamation mark, the \n. Yeah, else the console will start right after your writings. Better a new line after your output. We introduce variables now. Make a variable $s. Is a string hello. Semicolon enter. $s equals string world echo $s. So what do you think will the output be? At best, we find out with the debugger, and we do this now. We install Xdebug next. We will find out what happens. TS is thread safe. Nice. Move it to PHP, yes. Now you do in your PHP INI, you copy the PHP development. And edit it with Notepad++. Add a new section at the most bottom. Xdebug. And now you do send underscore extension. Send extension equals. Now the path to the Xdebug DLL. Good. Save. Open shell. Run PHP -i. Is it Xdebug somewhere? You can try to pipe it to grep. Yeah, or do so, yeah. It helps too. Yeah, does not work. Do it on Command X. See, Windows is better than Linux.
I don't think so.
Now we need Xdebug. This is all the Xdebug config variables. You can copy all of them. We do it sophistically. We do it the right way, you know. Copy them all. Save it to your PHP INI. Auto trace renamed. Delete. Delete, delete, delete. Client host logo. Port is interesting. 9003. Yes. And you do Xdebug client port equals 9003. You delete everything equals 9003. Enter alles. Delete alles. Xdebug mode, exactly. This is important. And you make develop dot comma debug. Then you can make a comment. Develop debug profile. Looks good. Renamed, renamed, renamed. Start with request. This is important. Make true. I think that's it.
Control S to save.
Now we set up the debugger in Eclipse. Window preferences. PHP. Debug. The upper, yes.
Debug.
Default. Project. Configure PHP executables. Yeah. Edit it. Edit the existing debugger. Yes. Port 9003 is important. Edit. Yes, debugger. Global settings. Port is okay. There also 9003 exactly. Then there's use multi-sessions. Then max data, you can increase max data. Okay. Now I pledge you to close Eclipse, to save everything, and open everything again. Okay, now put a breakpoint. Do debug as, yeah. Do debug as. CLI.
And now look.
Step over. You see the variable s now?
It's hello.
Yeah.
Then variable is his world.
Okay, let's show again. We have now set up Eclipse and make the hello world work. Now let me show you some cool stuff. You add a new line 4, Xdebug, break, the first one. And now call it via the Windows terminal. Oh, look what happened. What's blinking? Eclipse is blinking. You are in the debugger now. Click it. Now step over it. Now hover over $S again. It's a string, hello, length of 5. The ASCII table codes are 48. The second letter is 65. You triggered the debugger over your Windows console, you know? Eclipse just bam, magic. And okay, with this setup, you can write great CLI stuff, or we have a development environment with a debugger working. We have PHP installed nicely on our system. We can code right away, you know? And that was the lesson for today. Eclipse, the debugger, PHP, you're ready to go. That's it for today. See you tomorrow.